Hello everybody, welcome back to X-tricated with KB and DDB. So, we are recording on the day Nigeria are playing Ivory Coast. And we would not know what the result would be. But when you're listening to this, you would have known who the winner is. And guess what? KB's prediction was that Super Eagles were going to win the AFCON. Abi? Didn't you predict?
Yes. First of all, I would like to say, David.
What?
Thank you for not believing in us.
I did not believe in Nigeria. Honestly, I did not believe in Nigeria.
Finally, the great one has come back to X-tricated. Anyway,
do you know who this guy is referring to? He's referring to The Rock. Like with all the politics that is going on around WWE wrestling right now, this guy is talking about The Rock.
Yes,
and he's proud of The Rock.
I'm not proud of The Rock. I'm mocking him actually.
Mocking. But do you know that he doesn't look good being a heel? At all. He looked it when he was young, but right now, it doesn't.
The funny thing was that I had a very, very passionate argument with my cousin about this morning.
That what?
About the whole The Rock, Roman Reigns and whatnot affair.
Now what was wrong?
Well, I just felt like it was very, very stupid, and it's like more of an ego thing for The Rock to insert himself in this main event, whatever. Well,
if you look at it, Roman Reigns versus The Rock is going to be the biggest WrestleMania main event.
Let us talk about
However,
how can I be talking about that nonsense? Who cares about biggest main event?
You see. However, they've successfully turned it around. The WWE have already saved their asses. Honestly, saved their asses by doing what they did at the WrestleMania kickoff. So if you're not a wrestling fan, just bear with us, right? So anyway, Cody Rhodes, they finally turned Cody Rhodes into John Cena.
SMH.
Eh?
No, nothing.
Jesus, this guy used SMH. Shaking my head. Inside.
Yes, no.
Are you a Jay-Z?
Yes. Oh wait, no, I'm not actually. I'm actually not, please.
No. Why? You're not.
First of all, number one, I say SMH a lot, yes. I say LOL a lot too. I don't have to do those things physically before, expressing. That's my way of expressing what I want to express. Thank you.
All right.
Enough of the dilly-dallying.
Last week, we said we were going to talk about the emerging markets. And markets. And I have a different opinion from this guy. He has a different opinion from me. One, I feel it's a scam. Do you feel it's a scam?
Actually, no, I don't call it a scam. It's just more of, like you said, different opinions, right?
Yes.
And there are different schools of thought. Just like in almost everything when it comes to economics, there are different schools of thought when it comes to some certain definitions, certain concepts.
Let us hear his definition. Then I'll give my own definition, as simple and straight and black and white as it is. So KB, give us a definition of what you think your school of thought is around emerging markets, because based on the emerging market, there is no factual definition.
Yes,
about emerging markets.
That is very true.
There is no factual definition
so
about what emerging market is and who they are. They just, different publications have their lists and all that. That's why I think it's a scam. Not I believe it's a scam, right? Anyway, give us a definition.
Just because people have different opinions on a matter does not make it a scam.
No, that's not why I'm saying it's a scam. Anyway, just continue.
Before how I like to think of this thing is, first of all, I like to go to the history. I don't know, this guy's name doesn't want to stick in my head, but then the person that coined the term emerging markets, his name is Antoine van Eichtel or something like that. The name doesn't want to stick, but then he was an economist, right? And then he was basically trying to package packaging is very key. You understand? If you're on LinkedIn, you understand
you see where scam is, ba? You see scamming has started. Let's continue.
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, he was talking about, he was trying to make third world countries. It's not like as if he had nothing to gain, you understand? But then he noticed something in third world countries. He noticed that they are untapped markets, you understand? And then, however, many people are not likely to take risks into third world countries, right? To invest in third world countries, to try to take the payoffs from those countries and stuff. So rather than calling them third world countries, I was trying to look for a term that, makes it more attractive. And then he decided to call them emerging markets.
The definition of that kind of person today in this our world is LinkedIn people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's why I mentioned LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you understand packaging and everything. Yeah. So there are different definitions. However, I think one thing I understand about emerging markets are they are markets that are not, or countries rather, that are not considered developed countries, number one. However, they meet some certain criteria economically, culturally, and even based on political stability too. They have certain systems, even judicial systems too sometimes are considered. Understand? They have systems that, they actually make you look like we are going to develop. You understand? You're going to develop and be considered among the big boys.
So now, if you're not developed, what's the criteria for being developed? That's number one. What's the criteria for being emerging market? And what's the criteria for being the lowest economy? What's the next economy? What's the next hierarchy? They've not even named them.
I think if you're not talking of emerging markets, you're going to be talking of frontier markets.
Frontier market. What are those?
In frontier markets, these are markets that have not yet attained those that status. Basically, they are essentially third world countries.
So which means there is a criteria.
Yeah.
I've seen a criteria that kind of makes sense for me. That's IMF. You understand? IMF's own.
Yeah.
But now this is where my own, what you see, Bob, I'm trying to support his case with a definition from IMF. And he's saying, yuck, he doesn't like IMF. That man, he doesn't like IMF since. You get, but I don't know why he doesn't like IMF. Well, even me, I am iffy about them. But wait. So, this is the thing, yeah? Me, I feel it's a scam. I don't have a definition, right, about it. You get, because one, how can you tell me that China is not developed? That is number one. Number two, how can you tell me that Russia is not developed? What is the definition? How can you segregate those two from being developed?
That's why I mentioned political factors.
Because and this is where I say it's a scam. It's political. Everything about saying emerging market or not, they will just package it and say, just imagine JP Morgan now delisting Nigeria from their, what's it called, emerging market list and everything. Yeah. Why?
That was because they said Nigeria did not take advantage of the, what did they call it? The hike in oil prices.
Yes, just imagine.
And that was in 2022.
That's why.
And when did the oil prices get hiked? It was during this whole Russia-Ukraine thing.
Yes.
If Nigeria had upped their game, they would have been able to support them. Understand?
Yes.
But
that's basically
the funny
political.
thing was that anyway, we'll get to that. Let me keep what I want to say. make your points. We'll get to Nigeria as an emerging market.
As an emerging market, we'll talk about that later. And that's where I'm going to talk about the criteria that IMF have, right, on what's it called. So at the end of the day, you've already made my point, KB. The fact that you see, and what's it called? What countries did they even list when they delisted Nigeria? Uzbekistan and Serbia. Just imagine. It beats me. It just beats me completely. So, and the most shock for me, as I said, those two countries, Russia and China. Because if you're going to follow IMF's criteria, see, let me even talk about the criteria myself, right? The criteria is simple. There are three criteria, right? Number one, systemic presence. Number two, market access. And number three, income level. Systemic presence just means the size of the country's economical, country's economy based on nominal GDP, you get that? And its population and its share of exports in global trade. Now, let's be honest. Based on this criteria, systemic presence, for example, right? Where is China failing here?
No, they're literally not failing.
They are way ahead.
I think they've built a system. They've built a system that can sustain that. Not just sustain, no. Not even sustain. I'm not even saying sustain now, sir. That's even a mistake. That can propel them to become the leading world power
for decades.
Within the next decade, they are going to achieve that.
Exactly. Then you have market access. That's the next one. The next criteria, market access. It means the share of the country's external debt in global external debt. For example, now out of the global debt that we have, you remember when we talked about it? We said we have like over $300 trillion in debt that the global economy is.
We are owing Thanos.
Yes. We're owing ourselves that amount of money. So the share of that country's external debt, trust me, China has a whole lot of external debt when it comes to when it comes to that. And apart from that, is it included in global indices used by large international institutional investors? Yes. And the frequency and amount of international bonds issued, for God's sake. What do you want from China that you say they are just emerging markets? Right? And I think now this is where I believe everything is political, right? Saudi Arabia, again, they said it's not.
Saudi Arabia, UAE.
Yes. You understand?
Although those
you can argue.
Those countries are, yes. A reason for some people not including themselves is even the size of their country.
Apart from the size of
their small countries.
Apart from the size,
however,
but the rules, I think this thing is political, but because of the rules and regulations, human rights rules and regulations, that's what we're talking about, market access, for example. Like, you can't just have access to the internet of China.
Remember, I said political systems, judicial systems,
yes,
all those type of things. So that is how some people consider these things.
Exactly. Then you have income level. A country's GDP per capita in nominal US dollars. Now, question is, why are you using US dollars? If you look at everything here, it's basically biased. See, if you're an American and you're listening to this, I'm going to say it black and white.
I like how
this is biased. This is very, very biased towards your country, your system. If anything is not towards your system or supporting your system, it's basically not developed or not good enough. And I'm not just talking about yours, like I'm talking about the whole G8 in general.
Very true.
You get back that
America and his guys.
Exactly. And his Charlie boys.
Nah, cabal with that.
I tell you, like, it just doesn't make sense. And then you classify countries with certain things, and then you come and mention and you say Nigeria is an emerging market. Why? To me, honestly, Nigeria is not an emerging market. It's not. But they say Nigeria is an emerging market. I
believe Nigeria is an emerging market too.
Why?
Because an emerging market.
No, I see the reason why.
They actually meet criteria that makes sense to consider Nigeria an emerging market.
Let's
talk about.
Wait, are we using
our per capita income?
Are we using what's it called? IMF standard.
No, I'm not using IMF standard.
What standard are you using?
I don't even know the standard I'm using.
But give me what standard you're using.
But then I don't know the standard I'm using.
Okay,
but
just let me know. Give me your school of thought.
Okay. So I mentioned something about like the per capita income.
Yeah.
You understand? For a country to be considered an emerging market, it means that your per capita income rather is above those of the ones that are considered the frontier markets, that are considered underdeveloped countries and everything. It's higher. But then it's not up to those of the developed countries. That's one.
Okay.
Number two, you have systems that people can consider, outsiders can consider and say that, okay, this country looks like it's going in the right direction. You understand?
Is Nigeria going in the right direction?
No, sorry. When it comes to political systems,
is Nigeria going in the right direction?
Now. Do I believe that it is going in the
right direction? Is Nigeria going in the right direction?
Wait. When it comes to political systems, I think that there is, how will I even put it? There's a lot to be desired. But then when you compare Nigeria with say the rest of West Africa, say the rest of Africa.
See what this guy they do. This guy they do discount for me. He they do packaging for me with his answer. See,
Hold on.
Oh yeah, continue.
You ask me a question and I'm trying to give you answer.
You're giving political answer. You're giving political answer.
Don't vex me. Anyway, so when you compare Nigeria with the rest of West Africa now, you realize that Nigeria's political system is actually a lot better than most of it. Nigeria has a sense of political stability that other West African countries do not have. Like literally no other West African country has it. Are there things that we need to improve? Yes. Even in our judicial system, are there things we need to improve? Yes. But then compared to, because all these things, like we said, it is relative, it is objective. You understand? I'm now looking at it from the point of view of someone who will consider Nigeria as an emerging market. I mean, I'm just Nigeria. Like, to be honest, like whether Nigeria is an emerging market or not, it does not really concern we that are in Nigeria. It does not really concern us. It is more of people who want to invest in Nigeria. Or actually, it kind of concerns us because you in the country can still invest in Nigeria. Because if I had the money, I can still decide I want to take out my money and go and invest in, say, Rwanda or some other country. You understand? Within Africa. I mean, Dangote does it, right? He's investing in Kenya, investing in all those stuff. This one is just breathing heavily. I know he wants to attack me. It's alright. Then, what was the last thing? However, I think, then when it comes to like exports too, exports are also considered. Your exports, your volume of exports, then the volume of that external debt.
All this thing that you're talking about, are you talking in relative to other African countries?
Yes, in relation to other African countries. Because which countries will you consider?
If it is that one, Nigeria is head and shoulders above most countries.
Because they will consider Africa as a whole.
One, I agree.
Anybody that is considering will consider Africa as a whole.
But we're talking about
consider who is top in Africa.
But we are talking
which country is the emerging economy in Africa.
We are talking about on a global level. KB, we are talking on a global level.
It's obviously on a global level. When you're talking about global level, you're still going to bring it down to continental levels, right? You're going to consider continent by continent. Who are the powerhouses in each continent?
Okay, so wait. Okay, so the powerhouses in each continent, they are the ones that are emerging markets. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my God. It's good that I'm not even a lawyer self, because you could just vex person for cause they will slap you.
No, true. Answer the question.
Wait now. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you consider basically the word powerhouses that is doing you.
No,
I'm talking powerhouses in the sense of in the context of this what do they call this conversation that we're talking about?
Yes.
So I said obviously South Africa is included because South Africa has everything to consider. In fact, you can even ask questions as why is South Africa not even considered a developed country?
Yes, right? That's true.
Yes. Then
same thing with Egypt.
That's the next country I come to. Then
another one again, Morocco.
When you come to Nigeria, I disagree that Morocco was sharper then.
Why?
When you come to Nigeria,
no, I'm not saying. I said considered. Considered, not this thing.
When you come to Nigeria now, there's so many things that you can actually consider Nigeria. Nigeria's potential, Nigeria's even down to population self. Population is also a factor. Remember, we're talking about size of the country. When we're talking about why are some countries not even considered, countries like UAE, countries like this thing.
When you're done with this, your answer that is more than 5 minutes long now.
Hold on.
Then you give me.
Hold on.
Then you tell me. I'll just finish with one thing.
Can you shut up, please?
Continue. No, don't worry. Continue. You feel yourself, Abi. Continue.
Are they punching above their weights? Yes, those countries are punching above their weights. You understand? But then the factor of land size and population size is also there. That is why, like you said earlier, there is no definitive answer when it comes to what's an emerging market.
I hope you're rounding up this answer. Anyway, are you done?
Wait. So, if you consider all those things, anybody can say, okay, Nigeria is an emerging market. Anybody that is looking from outside
based on what?
Can consider Nigeria as an emerging market. Based on our potential, basically our mineral resources. That's number one. So meaning there's something to actually invest in if you come to Nigeria. You understand? That is that's a very, very big factor. So the potential for foreign direct investment. What do you think Nigeria's FDI level is?
This is very funny.
What do you think Nigeria's FDI level is? What do you think its potential is? You understand? Do you think Nigeria has the potential to have more foreign direct investments? Do you think so?
Foreign direct investment.
Yeah.
It has potential to. However, the market is not matured.
Yeah, that's why it's emerging.
Wait.
Are you going
Now, wait.
Okay.
In a definition where there is no factual, people are you listening? In a definition of emerging market that was coined by whoever, is it Van Gogh, whatever.
Wow. You don't like Da Vinci.
In a definition that was coined by somebody that did not even give a factual definition of what that is, why are we associating certain factors to that definition? Well, clearly, that definition has not been attached to these factors that you have been mentioning. How? Why?
Like we've already said.
Explain.
Different school of thought. I can come and say something. Okay. There was this. Let me give you an example. During the peak Donald Trump madness, there was a time that he tweeted something that did not make any sense. COVFEFE was what he tweeted. Everybody started like trying to decode what the meaning of that is and stuff. Yeah. So this man came and he gave this Antoine Van I whatever came and gave a definition. Not even a definition, came and coined a phrase which he never defined. However, other economists started trying to attribute things to it, factors to it. And based on some of those factors, I have said that Nigeria is an emerging market.
So,
and you are now arguing.
Wait, so what you're saying is the definition emerging market is inconclusive.
It is inconclusive. We've already known this for a fact.
You see why I said this is scam?
SMH.
You see why I said it's a scam?
What is the definition of economics? What is the definition of economics?
I will not answer that question. That is not the topic of discussion.
What is the definition?
That is not the topic of discussion, and I'm not going to answer that question.
When we were being taught about economics, we were taught that there are different schools of thought. We are given different what do they call it? Different
so it is inconclusive.
Hold on. Now what's your problem?
Inconclusive is a scam.
Hold on. We are given different definitions of economics. Adam Smith, Donald C. Robbins, all different guys giving what do they call it? Their own take on what economics is. Their own definition of what economics is. Do you have a definitive definition for economics? Do you have one?
Me, I have my own.
You have your own. I'm
going to remove this inside this podcast.
Nope. If you remove it, I will sue you. Because what's the meaning of it? So now I'm going to say that economics is a scam.
Economics is a scam, yes.
If economics is a scam, what are we doing here? We should just end this podcast. What are we talking about? There's no point talking about it.
Emerging market is a scam. People of God, whatever it is called, I know it's a scam. But anyway, enough. Wait. Enough about all this, whether it's a scam or not, whether it's inconclusive or not, right? When it comes to market and everything, right? And as KB has rightly said, right? Nigeria can be considered relative to other countries in Africa and then on a global level.
Yes.
Right? And then on a global level. There are some indications, and this is where I'm catching on to this IMF criteria. You understand? Income level, when it comes to per capita, we are really lacking because of our population. That is number one. Number two, market access. There is a huge market access when it comes to Nigeria. Huge one. Big time. You understand? But because of the population, because of what the possibility is, you understand, of the market, how the market can be consumable, is consumable, not even can be consumable. Yes. You understand? And then when it comes to the other criteria, which is a systemic presence, when it comes to systemic presence relative to other African countries, Nigeria is always above.
Yes. And
everywhere you go, you will hear Nigeria when it comes to that systemic presence. You understand, right? the population is there, the size of the country's economical GDP, right, relative to other African countries is high.
And even
you understand?
And even sometimes.
And apart from that,
continental influence too.
Yes.
Political influence. Right? That's what
you
I'm
get
talking about.
Yeah, there's political influence there.
And
yes.
there's soft power too.
And that's where the market access is now. That's all those things that I just mentioned now under market access, right? Then even apart from nominal GDP, if you look at other GDPs, especially PPP, power purchasing parity.
Purchasing power parity.
Like
your favorite term.
Yes, I love that.
That you always mix up.
I
feel always put the power before the purchasing.
Exactly. I think we should. The reason why it's there for me because I think we should use that as the right what's it called measuring yardstick, whatever, for me anyway, because it gives you the nitty-gritties of what's actually happening.
See, but I think we should change DDB to PPP. You should change his brand name. This guy sells PPP more than anything.
Yes.
More than any other economic index.
Yes.
But I agree with him in that regard.
And the share of exports in global trade when it comes to Nigeria is also high. And let's not even go there. The systemic presence is not just about numbers and everything. Look at World Trade Organization, for example. You understand? Who is the Director General? A Nigerian. The fact that Nigeria has weaved itself to be really present systemically, strategically in the global trade area, that is one, right? Number two, the market access, the way...
Even look at AFDB too.
Exactly, African Development Bank as well. A Nigerian basically...
Minister, right? What's his name? Something.
I've forgotten his name.
Right?
Yeah. Then we're talking about external debt. KB has always been worried about external debt when it comes to Nigeria. Relative to Africa, we have the highest, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You understand? But talk more of, if we even have external debt more than some European countries, more than most European countries, I tell you, the number is huge. You get, so that there is very, very, and then the fact that it also always, Nigeria is always included in global indices when it comes to by large international institutional investors, and the frequency as well, an amount of international bonds issued is high. We have ECOWAS is there. We have what's it called, African Union, AU. You get that, and then Nigeria is really entering into certain certain waves of
other cliques.
You understand? But outside Nigeria. You get
outside Africa.
Outside Africa rather. You get, so now for me that criteria that I have from IMF is giving me a good direction when it comes to Nigeria, and to tell me that yes, Nigeria is actually an emerging market now. But I have a problem. You cannot say Nigeria is an emerging market and then you say Russia is an emerging market and China is an emerging market. How?
Yeah, this comes back to the political aspect of it. In fact, it's not like we even established already. Not every establishment considers Nigeria as an emerging market.
Yes.
We talked about how JP Morgan delisted Nigeria.
And then when I included Serbia and Uzbekistan as an emerging market, how are they emerging market and then Nigeria is not?
Exactly.
How?
So all those things, these are the kind of things that make David say that it is a scam. So I actually get his point, but then it is not a scam. You cannot just come and term something a scam just because people have different opinions concerning it. That is why I brought.
Ladies and gentlemen of the international community, if you're listening to me,
that is why I brought up the definition of economics.
Anybody that will come and give me a factual definition of emerging market with criterias, like cemented criterias, right, should be able to convince me to stop saying that it's a scam. And I'll always say that it's a scam. Okay. Till that research is being done.
Okay, David, give me a factual definition of economics.
I'm not going to answer that question because that is not the topic of discussion.
Give me one.
That is not the topic of discussion.
It is by extension the topic of discussion.
That is not.
It is the topic of our podcast.
I was not taught what economics is.
Who taught you what emerging market is, though? Who taught you what emerging market is? Did anybody teach you?
I have not learned what emerging markets because there's no definition about emerging markets, bro.
Okay. Chris. Anyway,
Now you
so
crazy.
so let's even briefly talk about that whole JP Morgan issue before we even like
Wrap it up.
wrap it up, right? We initially I told you the reason why JP Morgan delisted Nigeria because of the inability to capitalize on the increased price of oil, right? So I think a lot of them over there expected Nigeria to like step up, you understand, and be a supplier of this thing. But then here's one thing, but
especially to their Federal Reserves.
Here's one thing.
Especially to their Federal Reserves. That was the major thing that made them take that decision.
So, but there's one thing that has always kept on biting Nigeria, and it's one thing that people have been talking about since that Russia-Ukraine war broke out. In the sense that NNPC during that period for like 3 months did not remit anything. That's period of when the invasion started and for 3 months NNPC didn't remit anything to the Nigerian government with respect to let's say profits from crude oil and whatnot. Why? The reason is that number one, subsidy was in. You understand? Nigeria was spending a lot of money on subsidy. So what are they going to remit to the government? You understand? That's number one. And even aside from the fact that profits or whatnot, the government was still going to get debt to to sustain that subsidy too. Also, the fact that we were not refining our petroleum was also a problem. We are exporting that petroleum and they were importing from countries like Russia. Do you understand? Nigeria during that period was just treading lightly. Nigeria did not side with anybody. Nigeria did not side with UK. It did not side with US. It did not side with anybody. It did not side with Russia either. It was although it was begging Russia to withdraw from Ukraine. You understand? That's all Nigeria was all about, because it actually affected them. Even the whole grain issue and everything. When they opted out of there's something I can't remember the agreements, but it had to do with grains. And then also that even affected the global price of things like wheat. Flour shot up and everything. So Nigeria has not, Nigeria did not do what it should be able to do during that period. I remember we must have even talked about it when we said that this was an opportunity for Nigeria to step up.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It was an opportunity for Nigeria to step up, but Nigeria did not.
Yes.
You understand? It is now that we are even trying to we are looking like doing some certain things, now that fuel subsidy is out, refineries are in, all this type of thing. But then, is it a matter of too little, too late? Because these are things that, assuming we took these steps,
you can't say it's too.
No.
Too
Okay,
little,
actually, that was a wrong assessment from me.
You can't.
I'm sorry about that. That was a wrong assessment. Remember when we talked about Saudi Arabia? When we talked about Saudi Arabia's proactivity, what Saudi Arabia is doing currently, that vision 2030 and all that. Saudi Arabia knows that in, let's say, few decades to come, they might not be as relevant. So they are trying to be more relevant now.
This is where that systemic presence comes into play now.
Yes.
You know that they are putting their hands everywhere now.
Yes.
Everywhere, investment, very everywhere, entertainment, everywhere, sports.
They are going to be a power that you cannot contend with in the coming decades.
You will always see them everywhere you go.
That's
right.
Very true.
The way you see Nigerians in the workforce, in the white collar workforce, everywhere you go in the world, right? That is how you see Saudi Arabians. But you see Saudi Arabians in establishment as investors rather than in the white collar thing. For example, now look at India, for example. The systemic presence that they do have wherever they are now when it comes to is biomedicals. You understand? Medicals, startup companies, especially tech startups, especially technology. You understand? You find them in those, especially the medicals and the technology. They pick those two niches. You get by, and they're taking over everywhere they go to.
So Nigeria has not really exhibited, or right now they're starting to do that. They're trying to start to do that. But then this is one of the things that when we look back and realize that
Nigeria is a complicated nation.
When things were better, when things were a lot better,
yeah,
there are some steps that could have been taken. And I think it even comes down to us as individuals. Many of us, when the going is actually good, we don't even consider, okay, what about the future?
Yeah.
You understand? Okay, what can I do to sustain this and even make it better? You understand? Yeah. So we don't really consider those things, and I think it reflects when it comes to the government policies too, because it is Nigerians that still go on to lead Nigeria, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So all these things, they don't consider them. So right now I think that, okay, maybe with all these things that are going on, I think there are some steps that should not have been taken right now because of the situation we are in. But then there are some steps that either way we could not avoid.
Yeah.
Like the fuel subsidy removal and whatnot.
No, that
could not have been avoided, right?
Could not have been avoided.
But then in the long run, we're actually going to see, we may not see it next 5 years, we may not even see it next 10 years, but in the long run, you'll be actually thankful that, okay, this thing actually happened to us.
And okay, I think that one is going to be, if I'm going to do that now, I think we've already done that stuff early this year. It's going to be a motivational speaking about delayed gratification and patience.
Yeah.
But playing the long game is very, very important. Really important.
So
and you've got to recognize that.
Yes. So
especially if you want to have a future, a big one that you want to say that Nigeria will change and all that, or you yourself you want to change. It's not about getting the stuff now. If you get the stuff now, trust me, in the next 5 years, 10 years, you're gonna crumble. It's inevitable that will happen because you've not put foundations for you to get ready for that success that you are going to get.
Yes, that's true.
You get, but when you build it gradually to a point where you've already set up foundations where no matter how,
and sometimes systems run themselves.
Exactly.
That's what some countries are enjoying.
Yeah, that's what US are enjoying.
Yeah, the system just end up running themselves.
Exactly. The system runs itself. Even in Europe, the system, the whole entire European community, I will call them a community because they are a community. They are run by systems.
That's why they what's it called? Whoever comes in as a president, you just end up tackling some things that look stupid.
Yes.
I will like, people, that's first world problems. That's where first world problem comes in, because the things that should really bother people are not even there.
Because
anyway,
the systems were there already.
Yes. So I want to close by saying this, but like there's one thing, whether you consider Nigeria an emerging market or not, whether you consider emerging markets a scam or not, there's one thing you cannot avoid it. And then emerging markets, right? Emerging markets, a country can move out of the term emerging markets for better or for worse. Countries have moved up. Countries have moved up and have been considered developed nations.
Like Singapore.
Countries have moved down.
Singapore is an example that has gone up. Yeah.
And they're considered frontier nation. So the thing is, you do not, when you say emerging markets, you don't, if you are an emerging market forever, it does not really make sense. You understand? Even by someone's,
it means you're stagnant.
Even by definition, even if it is by someone else's definition, at least have one person that defines you as not an emerging market that you've developed into. You understand?
Or stick to one criteria that makes sense to you, like I am doing with the IMF's criteria.
Yeah. I think even as a nation, but maybe our policymakers and all those things, they should actually stick to one definition, right? They feel that is the right one, and gear themselves in that direction. Yes. Even if you are not considered a developed nation by some bald-headed dude somewhere.
Criteria. If you want, you can even create your own criteria.
That
you
is
get
very
back.
true.
You can create your own criteria.
That is even what I want to do. I want to actually create one that I want to even judge Nigeria based on.
Exactly.
Understand?
Yeah.
I think that should be what our policymakers should do. It should be something that should be documented and like, okay, let us follow this plan and then make it
so that it's not a mix and match of everything. And honestly, but when it comes to economics, as KB said, right, to some extent, economics is also a scam.
And that makes this the last episode of X-tricated. Because why would I be talking about scams? I guess I'll just go and start a podcast where I'll be talking about WWE.
But anyway.
Speaking of which, I think we need to start talking about sports more often. I think maybe in our next season we need to talk about the economics of sports.
Yes,
a lot
we're
more.
Gonna do that
because there are so many things I've been thinking about.
Like sweet. Sweet was massive.
There was this thing I was reading on how NFL used socialism to get rich.
Yes, no.
Guy, that's in fact not just NFL. It's American sports in general.
Yes.
America is a capitalist nation. No?
Yes, but they're using that system.
You do get.
And guess what? Guess what they're trying to do? Saudi Arabia and other countries and and even the US are actually infiltrating Europe, trying to implement this system.
You can just imagine. So there are so many interesting things to talk about.
And we're going to do that.
Last, you cannot avoid economics. So
yeah, you can. Anyway, right? It's like economics, right? Economics also. Whenever it comes to economics, interest rates, all those things. Guess what, right? There's no one definition that fits all. Honestly, I don't think there's one definition that fits all.
True.
It's up to you to find a solution. One solution that has worked 10 years ago will not work today, might not work today. You have to come up with a new one. And when you come with a new one, people will look at you as an inventor or as a genius. You understand? And they'll be like, guess what? In the next 2 years, they're going to use you as a case study. Next 5 years, they're going to double up on your, what's it called? And then people will keep improving on what you've came about. You get back, and guess what? They'll give you credit to that. Some of them will not even get credit to it, but then will be used. And then where was it first used? It was first used in this place, so and so, and then it has been improved to this place and so and so, and that's how it becomes a norm.
That's right.
Without a factual definition of the whole thing, or even a factual name of the whole thing, just that this is the strategy that was used. All right. Anyway, that is a wrap, everybody. KB, what do you have for our guys? Abi, you've already done. You've spoken your piece, yes. All right. Me too. I've spoken my piece. Cheers. You guys enjoy. Emerging markets are a scam. Economics is a scam. Oh, wow. Policies are also a scam. But then find your own criteria and stick to it. Shikenan. Bang bang. Bye bye.